What is up, guys? It's Murph, and welcome back to NHL 19. In a brand new episode, I'm going to be doing a full season simulation and postseason simulation of the 2018-2019 NHL season to give you, I guess, a look on what EA thinks who's going to win the Stanley Cup. Now, they already did a whole season playthrough and postseason and who's going to win the Stanley Cup. They did that, but I want to see on my end who is going to win that Stanley Cup, who's going to make the postseason, and who is going to make the surprise appearance in the Stanley Cup, and who's going to get the awards and everything like that. So I'm just going to jump right into the season, and I'll be back in just a quick second and show you who is going to make them playoffs. Alright, so the simulation is done and all the results are in. Every game has been played this season, all 82 games, and here is how the playoffs are going to end up. So, the team that actually picked, the Islanders, they're going to make the playoffs. They went 41-35. They're going to be the 8th place team in the Eastern Conference. In front of them is the Washington Capitals. 94 points, the Flyers with 97. The Devils are going to get 99 this year. Ooh, that's interesting. Toronto Maple Leafs are going to get 99, a little less than what I thought they would get, but that's still pretty good. The Bruins get 99 as well. They're tied with points. Bruins have less wins, but Maple Leafs have more losses, so it makes sense. And the Bruins have 11 overtime losses. Penguins, no-brainer, 103 points. And the Lightning, no-brainer, 106 points. Rangers just not making the playoffs with 87. They lost to their arch rival, the New York Islanders, and weren't able to get a playoff spot. For the Panthers, they get 86 points, didn't make it. Senators got 86 and didn't make it. Blue Jackets, Hurricanes, and the Sabres, they went from 14th place. They actually made the playoffs in the EA Sports simulation. And the dead last team in the Eastern Conference is the Montreal Canadiens. They get only 69 points and almost 10-point deficit from their second placeholder, which is the Detroit Red Wings, in 15th place with 78. So that's a 9-point difference right there. That is absolutely nuts. In the Western Conference, you get the Edmonton Oilers taking the number 1 seed, 107 points for the season. The Anaheim Ducks at 106. Wow. The Winnipeg Jets with 102. Blackhawks getting 100 points. They're back in the playoffs. The St. Louis Blues with 97. The Golden Knights with 94, San Jose Sharks just getting in there with 90, and the Nashville Predators just able to get in there right in front of 3 different teams. The Stars, the Wild, and the Kings were just unable to make it with 86 points, all tied for 9th place. Coyotes getting 78 points, Avalanche with 77, the Canucks with 74, and the Flames with 72. That's a little bit surprising because a lot of people were believing that the Flames are going to be able to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, or the Stanley Cup, not the Stanley Cup Finals, the playoffs. The Stanley Cup playoffs, they think they'll be able to make it in there some way, somehow, but they only get 72 points, and the Canucks only get 74. Wow, it's a little surprising. So we'll take a look at the bracket and see what we got, all these matchups, what they all are going to be in just a second. Alright, here we go. We got our Stanley Cup playoffs bracket set, and here are our matchups. In the Western Conference, you got a good matchup on the top there. The Chicago Blackhawks against the St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg Jets against the Sharks, the Ducks against the Golden Knights, and the Oilers against the Predators. And then you got to the Eastern Conference, the Devils and Flyers. That's a good series. Penguins and Capitals, another good one. The Bruins and Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs trying to get revenge against the Bruins. Maybe they can do it. And the Lightning against the Islanders. That was round 2, the East semifinals of the year, I believe 2016. So the Islanders trying to get revenge after losing 4-1 in that series against them years ago. But we'll sim to the semifinals, and let's see who is going to beat who and who is going to be representing themselves as whatever conference's semifinals. Alright, first simulation is done. Sadly, my Islanders didn't make it. They lost 4-1 again to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But in the Western Conference, the Blackhawks were able to beat the Blues, and the Sharks swept the Jets. That's an upset. A little bit, in my opinion, I do think the Jets are pretty decently good. They did make it to the Western Conference Finals last year, but a sweep right there. And the Ducks, that's an upset. They swept the freaking Golden Knights. And the Predators were able to beat the Edmonton Oilers. So there's your Western Conference semifinals. The Blackhawks against the Sharks, and then the Ducks against the Predators. And then the Eastern Conference, you got two Game 7s on the top bracket of the bracket. The New Jersey Devils just fell short to the Flyers, and the Penguins were able to beat the Capitals in a 7-game series as well. And that's a good series right there. The Battle of Pennsylvania. It's Pittsburgh and Philadelphia once more. It's going to be a good one there. And the New York Islanders fell short to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and also the Maple Leafs only able to win one game against the Bruins. They had upset the Maple Leafs and John Tavares and Austin Matthews and everybody there, as Boston heads to the semifinals against the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Penguins against the Flyers. Let's see who is going to represent themselves as the East Final and West Final contenders right now. Alright, here we go. We got our semifinals for both sides of the conferences, and on the West, it's, wow, look at that. Only 4-1 against the Blackhawks and the Sharks. The Blackhawks move on to the semifinals, and the Predators get shut out by the Ducks, as the Ducks are able to go 8-0 in this playoffs and head to the Western Conference Finals. And look at the Eastern Conference Finals. Another Game 7 between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Philadelphia Flyers against each other this time, and the Flyers come out on top and beat the Penguins and Crosby. They are able to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are able to go right through the Boston Bruins and beat them 4-1 as well, as they go to the conference finals in the East. So there you go, Western Conference Finals, Anaheim Ducks against the Blackhawks, and the Eastern Conference Finals, the Lightning against the Flyers. Who is going to go to the Stanley Cup? Alright, there it is, folks. We have our finalists here in the Stanley Cup. The Ducks were able to beat the Blackhawks. They didn't sweep them, but they were able to beat them 4-2 in that series and go to the Stanley Cup for the second time in franchise history. And as for the Lightning, they're able to go to the Stanley Cup and beat the Flyers 4-1 again. 4-1 victories for the Lightning for the past 3 series, and they're able to go right into the Stanley Cup for, I believe, what is the 3rd time of their career. Can they get a second Stanley Cup? Can one of these teams get a second Stanley Cup? The Ducks have one. The Lightning have one. Let's see who's able to get the Stanley Cup. The Lightning have the upper hand. They're up 3-0 in the series. They're 1-1 away from their second Stanley Cup in franchise history. Can they do it? See if we can simulate a game and see what happens. Who is going to win the Stanley Cup? Are the Ducks able to give it a fight and get one on the board, or are the Lightning just going to sweep the Ducks entirely out of the Stanley Cup playoffs? Let's see. And that is it. Your Stanley Cup champions. Again, for me at least, for this time in 2019, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to win the Stanley Cup, says EA Sports on my end. So that is it right there. Tampa Bay Lightning are going to mow their way through this playoffs, beat the Islanders 4-1, beat the Bruins 4-1, beat the Flyers 4-1, and sweep the Ducks right out of the Stanley Cup and win it and take home their second cup in franchise history. A good fight for the Ducks as well. They swept their first 2 contenders, and then the Blackhawks were able to put up a fight, but just not enough for them to beat the Anaheim Ducks. They went into the Stanley Cup, but do get swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, without further ado, let's go check the awards for the season. Who's going to win who? So obviously the Stanley Cup champions are the Tampa Bay Lightning for the second time in their franchise history. Congrats to them. President's Trophy goes to the Edmonton Oilers. That's who wins the President's Trophy. The Clarence S. Campbell Trophy, or the I don't even know how to say that, but whatever. The Campbell Bowl goes to the Anaheim Ducks. Obviously, they were able to do that because they were a part of the Stanley Cup, so at least they get some kind of award. Prince of Wales Trophy goes to the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's the team awards. Now the player awards. Art Ross Trophy goes to none other than Alexander Ovechkin. Connor McDavid, move over. We got the oldie in here. Ovechkin is able to win the Art Ross Trophy. Art Memorial Trophy goes to Ovechkin. Alright, so he's got 2 awards in a row. James Norris Memorial Trophy goes to Klingberg. Oh, look at that. So Klingberg wins it. For the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy, it goes to Vladimir Tarasenko of the St. Louis Blues. There you go. Oh, there we go. The Calder Memorial Trophy goes to, how do you say it? Mittelstadt? I want to say that's Mittelstadt. He wins it, so he wins Rookie of the Year for the 2019 season. That's what this game's going to think. That's a little surprising. I thought Dahlin might win that, if anything, if any Sabre was going to win it. The Conn Smythe Trophy goes to Vasilevsky. I mean, he did bring his team to the Stanley Cup and won it, so congrats to him. It's a great job for him. The Vezina Trophy goes to Matt Murray. No, it's not. It's close to my name, but that's not it. Matt Murray is able to win the Vezina Trophy on behalf of the Pittsburgh Penguins. The William M. Jennings Trophy goes to Devin Dubnyk of the Minnesota Wild. And the Bill Masterton, I don't know why I say Masterton Memorial Trophy goes to Zach Bogosian of the Buffalo Sabres. So 2 Sabres winning awards. It's a little surprising. The Selke Trophy goes to Patrice Bergeron of the Boston Bruins. Congrats to him. The Ted Lindsay Award goes to Alexander Ovechkin. There's another award for him. And the final award goes to Ovechkin, his 4th award of the season, the Maurice Richard, I think it's called Maurice Richard Trophy. I'm pretty sure that's what that's called. Not Richard, it's Richard. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And Alexander Ovechkin is able to do just that. I guess like the player stats in the playoffs are just for the playoffs. Yeah, it's just for the playoffs. So that is going to do it. Your Stanley Cup winners of 2019. EA Sports says on my end, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to do it. They said it in the last one. They think they're going to do it again. Let's see if that happens. If you like this video, click like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, click that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I go and put a video up on my channel. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, I'm Murph. I'll see you guys in the Stanley Cup.